Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have recently appeared for an interview and it was second round and the call lasted for like 30 minutes. So these were some questions which was asked from me. Like the first question was, your application will handle millions of users. What things will you keep in mind while designing the application so that it doesn't crash? So this is the what you can say in system designing. It is a very basic question, because every developer will keep this thing in mind, because the application should be scalable enough to handle millions of users. So here are some like points which you can remember and can answer in the uh, answer to the interviewer. So first is, use load balancers to distribute the traffic across multiple server. So your load shouldn't be on a single server only, so it should be distributed among multiple server. So for that, implement horizontal scaling. You will create multiple instances of servers, and before that, you will create a load balancer which will route your traffic as per the what do we call it, request number of requests. And you can use caching, redis or cdn to reduce database load. So if your apis are making database call, and there are some records or data which is retrieving very frequently, so you can use caching for that. Design stateless service so that instant can scale easily. And use messages. So I'm just sharing the points, because if I will keep on explaining all these points in detail, so this video would be too long. So I'm just uh, giving you the points. So design stateless service so instance can scale easily. Use message queues like kafka or rabbitmq for asynchronous processing. Implement rate limiting and throttling to prevent overload. You can use circuit breakers pattern to protect the system when dependency fail. Monitor system with metrics and alert. So this was the first question. Second question was, how do you make third party api call in an application? So whenever our application will connect with the third party, so we will have to make api call. So for that we have rest template, web client and fin client. The api called through http method like post, put, delete, and the response is mapped to a java object. A third question was, what thing should you check while making third party apis call? So um, the first one is timeout configuration to avoid thread blocking. So and next one is retries with back off strategies. Proper error handling should be there, like my responses. So 400 series or 500 series responses would be there. Authentication would be there. And every while making api call, logging and monitoring should be there. Fallback mechanism if the api is down should be there. So let's suppose if one api is failed, your system should be capable enough that you have implemented fallback mechanism if the api is down. And next one was best practices for calling third party api call. So the same thing is there. Use timeout and retry mechanism. So if one api is taking too much time, so you can use timeout for that, and you can retry after some time. Implement circuit breaker pattern. So one service is done, so you can just simply block the calls to that system, and you can just simply return the response that the service is down, you please try again later. Use connection pooling. Add fallback responses. Cache response if possible. Monitor legacy and failure rates. And next question was, how can you make API call in parallel without crashing the system? So you can use asynchronous programming with completable feature. You can use a thread pool executor service framework. and you can use reactive programming with web client. You can also limit concurrency using bulkhead pattern to avoid resource exhaustion. Yes. So next one was, there are many ways to call a third party APIs. Why you, if your answer is like you and that I have used REST template, so in my case it was REST template, the answer was REST template. So the interview asked why use REST template. So REST template is a synchronous HTTP client provided by the Spring, which simplifies REST API calls. Reason to use it: it is simple and easy to implement. It supports all HTTP methods. So easy request and response, which can be easily mapped to Java objects, integrate with the Spring's ecosystem. So if the interviewer asks that is there any alternative of a web REST template which you should prefer, so yes, the answer is web client, because in modern application web client is preferred because it support non-blocking calls. So it makes a synchronous call, and a REST template is synchronous. So the next question was, how do you find hotspot in an application? So what hotspots are? Hotspots are the area where the system spends most of its time or resource, if it is calling an API and it is taking much time, or if there is any part of your code which is time consuming, so that's an hotspot. So how would you identify them? So application profiling tool, like Visual VM, JProfiler are there, and APM tool like New Relic or Dynatrace you can use. And you can check slow database queries, which query is taking too long time, and analyzing CPU and memory usage, review application logs and metrics. And the next one was, how can you check if the health of application using Grafana? So if you have implemented Grafana, so how would you use it? So Grafana is used for visualizing metrics and monitoring systems. So how it works, like you collect metrics, or data using Prometheus or Micrometer. So these are the tools which exports the data. You have to export data like CPU usage, memory usage, request latency, error rate, and to the using Prometheus, and Grafana will process the data and it will create the visualization. um, then you will create Grafana dashboard to monitor them, and you will configure alerts when the thresholds are exceeded, in Grafana. So this helps detect issue before they impact user. Advantages of using REST template: so if you have used a REST template, so uh, like why what are the advantages of REST template? So it is simple and widely used in Spring applications. It is it can easily integrate with the REST APIs, supports request interceptor and error handlers, and it automates conversion between JSON and Java objects. So these were the 8 questions which were asked by me, asked from me, and the call lasted for 30 minutes. So if you are appearing for an interview, so and carrying 4+ years of experience, so you can prepare these questions for your next interview. So thank you so much guys for watching this video. If you like this video, you can hit the subscribe button and like the video, and comment down your thoughts or any suggestion you have. So thank you so much guys.